Well, hello and welcome. Today we're at Virginia State University's Randolph Farm, and we're going to be talking about growing vegetables in containers. And many of you, as we're moving towards spring and summer, are thinking about growing vegetables. So maybe container gardening would be for you. And most any container can work. We've got a variety of ones here, large ones. We've got some small ones. Now this one right here might not be a great one for most plants, but some of these will. And it really depends on what you're growing. For example, tomatoes are going to require a much larger container to be grown in than something like some of the herbs. So you just have to kind of think about what you want to grow. So once you find your container, we're going to think about really what to put in the container. I would stay away from garden soil from the land. It's going to dry out really quick and harden up and not drain very well. So something like this right here, this media, this is what we call Soilless Media, and it's got bark and peat moss in it and perlite and a few things like this, and it does a really nice job of staying moist but also staying dry enough for the roots of the plant that's grown in there. And we've got some in this container right here, and this is a very large container, so we're gonna plant right now. We're gonna plant a tomato in here. Now we've got nice tomatoes like you see here that you can find at your local garden center, short, ready to go. But also you can find larger ones sometimes, like this here. And we're going to put this one in here. This one's already got flowers on it. What we're going to do is take this out of this container. It's actually also got a stake in it. We'll put that back to help keep it up. And we're going to kind of time to get dirty. We're going to kind of open up a hole right there. And we're going to pull it out of the pot. And you can see this has a pretty good root ball. We'll break it just a little bit and move it around a little bit. And we're going to bury this pretty deep in here. There's no leaves under here, so we've taken those leaves off. And we're going to add a little bit more media to this. Around here. Kind of going to get this up, not to the very top, because we want to be able to water it and have that water not flow over. We're going to put this little small stake in here right now, just to kind of keep it going for right now, and maybe a sandwich tie just to lightly make it stay on here. Later we might use a cage for this, because tomatoes are going to get really big and bushy, or maybe a series of stakes on three sides, but that's going to do very well. We would water this in. Have a nice, wand and a water breaker, water it in. The nice thing about these containers when you water is that you can water right at the root zone, and you don't have to get the leaves wet. And that makes it nice because you have less disease pressure and problems potentially if you have less water on the leaves. Now that's another thing to think about. When you water, you want to make sure that all these pots, have some type of drainage holes in the bottom. You don't want a container that's completely solid, as the water will just stay in there, and most plants don't like to stay wet all the time. So make sure that you've got leach holes in the bottom, drainage holes, or if you don't, use a drill and drill those holes in there. When you think about herbs, maybe a smaller container like this one here with that same type of peat-based mixture might do well. So here's some chocolate mint. Smells pretty good, a lot like chocolate. We're going to put this in here, get a real good contact with the media, and this will probably be a nice size. We'll water this in further. It's always a good idea to water your plants in after you've planted them to make sure there's no air pockets in there. This will be a good size. This container will be perfect for this, and this will grow on the patio nicely. One thing to think about, we talked about watering a lot, this material will dry out a little faster than you might think. So you need to watch it and manage it carefully and make sure that it doesn't dry out. But you also don't want it too wet. So it's that happy medium between too dry and too wet that you have to figure out. As you put this on the patio or on the deck, remember that most of these vegetables we're talking about, whether it's eggplants or peppers, cucumbers, or a lot of these herbs, are going to need about 6 to 8 hours of sunlight each day. So make sure that you can put that somewhere that's going to get that. Now there are some dolly type casters you can put under larger pots and allows you to move the pots around. instead of having to pick them up because they're pretty heavy. And so that might allow you to twist these around, turn them around, rotate them, or move them where they're going to have more sun. So overall, if you think about containers, you think about the type of container you're going to grow, the potting media that you're going to use in here, and then the type of plant, if you kind of match all those things together, you can have a very successful container gardening of vegetables. And it's something really nice for your deck, and it's going to be fun for everybody. Well, for more information about growing vegetables in containers, call your local county extension office and talk to a master gardener. For From the Ground Up, I'm Chris Mullins. We'll see you next time.